Hello and welcome to Rauta's take on Lords of Chaos movie. Now, already when I mentioned to some of the people on Rauta Discord server that I could make a video finally about this movie now that I have actually seen it, some were already commenting like, why not? It's already like water under the bridge, like why that's the old subject, everybody has seen it and all that stuff. I mean, it's 2018 movie, right? Now, be it as it may, it took me quite a while to actually watch this movie. First of all, I wasn't really interested in renting the movie. I wasn't expecting so much from it. So I wasn't really like enthusiastic about it. I wasn't in a hurry to see it because, I mean, everybody had already their opinions. Some people were hyping it basically on a negative basis and all that stuff. So lots of things have been already said about the movie, so I was like, what the hell, it comes when it comes. That is, when it's available on streaming services which I use, I will give it a watch, but I mean, I'm not in a hurry. And now that I was gonna make this video, I was pondering like, is it already that old, 2018? And yes, it is. And when I was checking out these dates here on the premiere list or release dates, it's actually quite clear. Yes, it originally came out in 2018 as a Sundance Film Festival and all those other places. But let's be honest about it, most places started to show it in 2019. So yes, more than a year old anyway as like a mainstream release. But as a film festival movie, well, 2 years and so. Anyway, be it as old as it may, that's not the point here. The point here is to tell you my opinion, my thoughts about the very movie. And in case you just have seen it, well, there's not much I can really tell you apart my own opinions, my own thoughts about the movie. And those who have not seen it, well, I'll have a news flash for you. It's not that bad. It's quite watchable, quite viewable movie. That is, you have to put it in more realistic expectations than to be about your favorite black metal superstars. This is not a story about black metal in Norway, nor it is a story about mayhem, nor it is a story about the big picture. No, it's not a documentary. It's a movie based on, how it was said, truths, lies, and what actually happened. So while there's a lot of facts in the movie, I mean most of the stuff anyway, obviously there are lots of, could be said as important pieces of drama. That is, it's made to appeal to the big audience who are not too much about facts. I mean, when we go even for documentaries, there are always sorts of things that are kinda to change how things are. That is, some documentaries take a certain kind of angle and present that idea to you. And while it might be fact-based, that's not very much the truth always. And even more so when it happens to be about movies based on real people, real characters, real events. Still, all these things get changed a little bit because, I mean, so often truth can be more interesting than a fiction. But only if it's told in the right way. Now, there has been a lot of commentary about which are the actual mistakes in the movie, facts or fiction kind of thing. I'm not going to go too much into detail about that because that's not like really worth of your time. You can pretty much Google it up and all that stuff. Now, my point about the movies was like, I was expecting a very, very mediocre, kind of a low budget American-made movie about these events which led Vikernes to kill Euronymous, the main guy of Mayhem, the owner of the famous or infamous Helvete shop and all that stuff. And also mentioning the church arsons and, well, that one other infamous murder that also took place in Norway, killing of that homosexual guy early 90s by this ex-emperor guy. But mostly it's about Vikernes and Euronymous having the feud, having that paranoia, growing up in their heads and leading to this probably the most famous murder in Norway, and at least most famous murder in black metal scene of all times. Now, all these basic plot lines and interesting things mentioned, it's time to talk about what made this movie so goddamn horrible. Well, first, let's get this fact right out of the way before people actually get, like, misled by wrong information or illusioned by what they think is truth. First of all, this is not an American-made movie, so it's not a Hollywood movie about Norwegian events. It's actually British/Swedish produced movies. I mean, there are producers from United States, and a lot of those actors are very much from elsewhere than Norway or other places. I mean, they are American actors, but that point aside, the makers of these movies are not exactly American, and as such, it's kind of a foolish thing to say it's an American-made movie. No, it's very much an indie movie made by European team mostly, and as such, I don't think it's fair to say it's a Hollywood-made movie, because it's not. Now, this is often reflected how movies are made. I mean, big American movies tend to be a whole lot different deal. Surely the director Jonas Åkerlund, the ex-Bathory drummer that is, and also famous for being director of many music videos, mostly I guess known for Rammstein, but also done I think Volkswagen TV spots and all that stuff in his career. I mean, he's kind of a famous in advertisement and music video director. So given that he went to do a black metal movie or movie about black metal people, it's interesting because of his own background. I mean, even if you still see some of his more recent interviews, I think it was a couple of years ago when I saw him about this Rammstein DVD or whatever, and he had like this old Bathory shirt, and his long black hair was very much like what you could imagine from an old guy who has been listening to black metal for a long time. Now, these things might be related or not, doesn't really matter, but I think he has sort of more interest and appeal to this kind of scene than if it was just some random Hollywood director. Now, all the details in the movie, I mean, well, most of the details, when it's about patches the guys were wearing, or what kind of albums were sold in Helvete store, and things like that, they are very, very cool to spot. I mean, there's a lot of kind of interesting anecdotes and details in the movie, which make this very interesting to see. Like, it's like going through what happened in the time, which kind of stuff were present, and blah, 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 and all that stuff. Now, also people were criticizing like how the Euronymous guy was like the good guy, so to speak, and Vikernes was obviously the bad guy. So protagonist versus antagonist. But that's not really true. I mean, if you actually follow the dialogue and more so the monologue by Euronymous, I mean, he already explains in the beginning of the movie that this is not going to end well. And I mean, if you listen to what he's talking, it's clear that he's not the good guy. Even though there's a fictional romance going on, I don't know, to be honest, why. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. But it's clear he's not a good guy. And Vikernes might be kind of a bad guy, but then again, both of these guys are. Most of the guys are kind of a bad guys. And that's by intention. There is not like a good guy versus bad guy, the bad guy killing the good guy. That's bullshit. If you think this movie is about that, you haven't really been watching the movie with a lot of your things going on in your head. I mean, you probably didn't focus if that's the thing. But some people claim, and I mean talking about metalheads, not some random people. Like, so are these black metal people like that? Is this a kind of documentary about them? No. I'm talking about these people who know their music, know their scene news, who have been reading zines, who have been listening to the music, watching concerts, watching documentaries, and blah, blah, blah. Now, I wouldn't still buy everything what Vikernes was saying about how this murder took place and all that stuff, because really, he's very, very biased. I mean, it's like this romantic relationship where this is just like boyfriend and girlfriend, and the girlfriend just dumps the guy, and the guy, will he just say brutal truth about this girlfriend or the relationship? No way. He's gonna say biased things. Well, she was a bitch anyway. How come? Now, the point here is, It's more about these young guys being very rebellious and kind of stupid as well at the same time. While they had some wild ideas and cool ideas, and they were, harnessing these rebellious things and combining with, satanic thoughts and good music, still they were young guys. But people don't always remember that when these events took place, these guys were very, very young. Probably a lot younger than people watching this very video. That is, while it's so easy to say, yeah, these movies now mocking these guys and making them look like goofy youngsters and teenagers, they were, except for Euronymous, who was already some 25 when the things happened. But remember, all these guys were like Vikernes, he was something like 21 or so when or 20 or 21 when this murder took place. So all these arsons, all these things that happened prior to the actual murder, which then led to people getting arrested and going into jail, they were like 18, 19, 20 years old. What were you doing when you were like 18 or 19? So it's not like they were fully grown up people having their families and jobs and still trying to maintain their kind of a band career or whatever. They were guys who were very passionate about things, very aggressive about society, politics, and of course these scene events. Now, there are lots of rumors what actually made these things happen. One of the things is money, obviously, like what was presented also in the movie. So one could say it was all about money, but not just about money. Also this power struggle, like Euronymous and Vikernes being these prominent characters, like they were having this power struggle. Also, these rumors what this movie also presents is like it was said that Euronymous was gonna kill Varg, and so Varg decided to go first. Maybe that is true. I don't really know. It's hard to say. Who knows for sure? Because these are almost 30 years old things, and memory is not the most trustworthy thing we humans have. Now, also, it was mentioned back in the days that there was some romantic things or things related to the opposite sex. So was it a feud or a fight about making influence about some women or whatever? I really don't know. Don't really care. But that wasn't present in the movie. Maybe it was one of those rumors that really didn't have anything to do with reality. I wouldn't tell. I wouldn't know. But the thing is, there are lots of things which actually resonate what I was reading back in the days from, magazines, what I have been told about people who were reading even more than I was. Never been much of a reader, I guess. And all that stuff. So for me, it wasn't so much a kind of a new story which surprised me. It was a lot about these facts which were just seen from a different angle than what I was reading, what I have heard. But as a pure movie experienced, taking these things aside and focusing what actually is happening on the screen, I think it's actually very entertaining. Is it a good movie? Not really. Is it a bad one? No way. I think it's actually better than mediocre movie. It was very entertaining, and of course part of that interest came from the background, being listening to these guys' music for so long, being reading these interviews or articles about what happened, and all this mysticism going around people, especially Dead and Euronymous. You really can't go and interview them right now, how it felt to be creating this music back in 1991. So obviously there's a lot of mysticism, everybody knows now that Dead had strong depression, and that probably led to him doing suicide. But was it more than just depression? Just depression. Also Euronymous. So many people say he was an asshole, he was a bad guy, he was trying to be this kind of a dominating guy, intimidating guy, he was trying to manipulate lots of people. Was he really a big a-hole, or was he just trying to balance things like that? We wouldn't know. We could only ask for different people and we would probably get different answers. Now, beyond all the story going about these two main characters, there's a lot of faces you will see who were also, of course, prominent at the time. You will see faces from Emperor and Darkthrone and blah blah blah. But there are also a lot of bands which you don't see in the movie. I'm talking about bands like or band members like Immortal and Enslaved and other people. Obviously, even actually Darkthrone guys are not mentioned by name. They're just hanging there on the background. Interestingly, the Zine guy Metallion is also present there, and I think those kind of details actually are very cool to have there because they really build the whole time capsule idea. It's like going back to the early 90s to Norway and see all that happen. Now, all this long rant being said, I think it's actually quite nice a movie. If I was to rate it here, I actually have rated, but this is where I'm not locked in because, private settings and all that stuff. I rated this 7 out of 10. Why so good, some people might ask? Because I felt entertained. I felt very much going into the details or this interpretation by this movie about how things were. Some people will totally disagree. Some people will be so upset about how these people were portrayed because they want to think these people are so much beyond what was actually happening. Like I said, they are not going to get into the mindset that these guys were like 20s or 18, 19, but more like these ageless creatures that created fantastic music, and they couldn't be acting like that childish or stupid and so forth. But in my experience, not only about black metal people, but people in general, people in metal in particular, I think that's very much truthful. These how young kids are. Now, actually, the biggest mistake is that a lot of these actors look a lot older than what they are because the actors are quite much older. For example, if you take a look at Rory Culkin here, who portrays Euronymous here, born in 1989. So by now he's over 30. Roughly 28 probably when this movie was filmed. Not that much of a difference, but still, I mean, how people are when they're 20s and when they're almost their 30s, it's a big difference. And not to mention these other characters. So they look actually a lot older than what they probably were in the real life. But all in all, I think you should give it a go. It will ruin some of your atmosphere. It will ruin some of your expectations. But I think it's for the best. It's much like when you're having this favorite artist of all time. You enjoy the music, you enjoy the lyrics, you enjoy the bad photos where these guys look totally badass. And then you end up meeting them in real life. Or maybe just reading a bad interview and you're like, oh shit, they're really that horrible? I mean, I thought they were cool. But it's like what Slayer frontman Tom Araya's kids said about him. Dad, you're not that cool. With these words, check it out or check it out not. Let me know with your comments what you think about. It's useless to do this. Comment if you have some opinion or other things to say. If not, well, can't have it everybody. See you later. Bye bye.